the ultimate 90-day listing marketing plan.
Mm-hmm.
And where we got the idea for the topic was very simple. We're going to break down 3 phases that cover 90 days. We're going to give you guys a road map to success. We're going to give
Mm-hmm.
you a checklist that you can follow at the end of the class. But this is the reason we're doing the class,
Mm-hmm.
because we actually looked during the last live stream that we did, just like today, we had almost 1,000 people on, and we said, hey, what is your average days on market? And the answers ranged, but I would say the bulk of the answers were between 30 and 60 days.
Yeah.
Some were 80 or 90, some were 20 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say 95% of the people that answered that question when we asked it, it was somewhere between 30 and 60 days. Then we asked another question. And this one hurt. We said, how many days does your current marketing plan account for?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a listing, how many things do you have and how long do they go for every single time? And Jimmy, it was 14 days or less.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think anybody said, oh, and this is really what we want to connect today. If your average days on market is 58,
Yeah.
shouldn't you have a 58-day plan? Not, and by the way, I'm not suggesting that you do something every single day for 58 days. I'm just saying, if I know that I'm going to have a product to market for 58 days, I need to have a plan that lasts that long, or
Sure.
else what's going to happen? I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, blow my load up front. I'm gonna do the 10 days of pain, the 14-day plan,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna have miserable and frustrated sellers for the next 40 days.
Sure. Sure.
And so that is really why we're doing this class. Because if your listing marketing plan is
Mm-hmm.
not in line with your days on market, what happens is that your marketing stops, but the clock doesn't.
And on that same note, real quick, Chris, before we go to the next slide here, I want to know from
Yeah.
everyone who's attending, because we almost have 1,000 people live with us right now. Let us know in the chat, how many days is your average days on market? So in the chat right now, let us know, is it 30,
Mhm.
45, 60, 90? Because what you just said, I think, is so important. There's two things. Everyone
Mhm.
who's sub 30, I got some bad news for you. I think many of you are going to start to see what has happened in other markets where you've gone from going from 15, 17, 21 days to sort of 40
Mhm.
days like that. So
Yeah.
we've seen this all across the US, where days on market continues to rise in almost every major market. But to your
Mhm.
point, everyone who's
Yep.
dropping in the comments right now, let us know in the chat, dude. Like put a Y in the chat. Do you struggle? Do you struggle with coming up with creative marketing ideas when the home isn't selling? Right?
Mhm.
Like, so we're all good at marketing for the first 14 days, but when the home isn't selling, like, do you struggle with coming up with creative ideas? Because I say that because if you're
Mhm.
putting a Y in the chat, you're in the right place. So, Chris, let's kind of give some
Correct.
insight on what you think about posting in general, as well as, like, how to make sure people kind of get the right mindset going into this idea of being more active over the course of that 90-day life cycle.
Absolutely. So I think one of the things, Jimmy, is a mental block
Mm,
where they don't think that they can post every day or maybe a couple times a day, or maybe they don't think the world is built for 30 different posts about the same listing. So
hmm
I wanted to do some research about this because I have that same concern. So Buffer analyzed over 100,000 accounts from all different industries and verticals. And this is what they found. And this is compared to posting 1 to 2 times per week.
hmm
Okay. If you post 3 to 5 times per week, so if you double your output from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5, you get 12% more reach per post, not total, per
hmm
post. If you post 6 to 9 times per week, which means you're hitting that cadence of daily posting,
hmm
every post you make gets 18% more reach. But the sweet spot and this is hopefully debunking the myth that you shouldn't post all the time. People who post 10 or more times per week get 24% more reach per post.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that these algorithms and these platforms are judging your frequency.
Yeah.
And if you're showing up monthly or weekly or twice a week, you're not listening to what the algorithm wants.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other reason that I always want to come up with new and creative ideas, Jimmy, because I don't want people to post the same thing 10 times a week. I want them to be able to take the same product, a
Yeah.
house, and I want them to be able to post about it from a lot of different perspectives that, by the way, aren't just appealing to the buyers. I want
Yeah.
it to be appealing to their past clients. I want it to be appealing to their sphere of influence, their family, their friends. And that's where it takes a little bit more strategy. Now, you talked me into an experiment
Mm-hmm.
that also backs up this ideology,
Yep.
which is emails, right? I work with hundreds of agents on their email newsletters. I can tell you, Jimmy, most of them prefer a monthly email newsletter.
Yep.
It's not enough. Like, because what we did, we have weekly email newsletters. I have the Chris list, I have Elevate, and we have Bits, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
a list, an email newsletter for listing agents. So why don't you actually go through this? Because as you know, and I'm a little bit of a hypocrite here, but as you know, I was anti going from a weekly newsletter to a daily newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
So A, talk about how we did that without going crazy, and then B, what were the results?
Well, I think the first thing is what Chris just alluded to is that experimentation is key to success in real and marketing and in real estate. And so we have some really strongly held beliefs that we wanted to challenge. And so what we
Hmm.
did is we took what was an existing piece of content, which is a really well crafted, super valuable email newsletter that contained all this great insight. And we said, rather than send one email to our entire list, which we do every week, what would happen if
Hmm.
we just broke this thing up into smaller bit-sized pieces? And instead of
Hmm.
sending five things once a week, we send one thing, 4 to 5 days a week. And what
Hmm.
was mind-blowing about this is it sort of, I think, reconfirmed something you and I both know, Chris, which is oftentimes when you have this thing like an asset, in this case for you guys, it would be your listings, you just sort of like
Hmm.
always offer the three-course meal. Here's
Hmm.
everything. And what we're
Hmm.
realizing when marketing, you have this opportunity to kind of break your listing up or break your asset up into all these little
Correct.
smaller pieces, which in fact actually can create a much better result for you as
Hmm.
not only from a brand exposure perspective, but also results. So that was sort of the big learning here was like you could literally 6x your exposure without 6xing your content creation, Chris.
Yeah. So what we did, just to be super clear, our newsletter is called Bits, Bits. Now,
Mm-hmm.
number one, our newsletter is interesting and useful and helpful. And then it
Yep.
has some passive sales pitches, passive links to webinars, passive links to what we do. So I think you can show up as often as you have something interesting to say.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But all I did, I was like, well, it is called bits. Why don't we break BITS up into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? So I
Mm-hmm.
still sat down and wrote the whole newsletter.
Yep.
Just whenever I loaded it up into Beehive, I just loaded one section per day. And I foreshadowed what would come the next day. And I did a look back at what came the day prior.
Yep.
And instead of sending one email, which we did the week before, we got 30,615 people to open our email when we sent one. When we sent five, we
Mm-hmm.
got 159,950 opens of the emails.
Yep.
So we had a 500% increase week over week. So
That's right.
and by the way, if you look at the bottom two, if you guys want to look really closely, the one that says what to do when you beat Zillow and the one that says the death of the hobbyist agent, those actually both outperformed the one at the top
Yeah.
for open rate. So our first two emails did better than our 1 a week email.
That's right.
And then if you'll notice the other three, 31.79, 31.3, 31.3, it's basically within a margin of error of the first one.
That's right.
So I think sometimes people think that their metrics are going to fall off a cliff, and it's just not the case. Now, what I did, and somebody said earlier, where to post, where to post. So the data that I shared here, Jimmy, just to be
Mm-hmm.
crystal clear, this research for these specific numbers was focused on Instagram. But in the research, they covered every other platform, and all of the findings were the same. That's why I didn't put it all, because
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything was exactly the same as far as the more you post, the more reach per post. But they also broke down, which I would take a screenshot of this because I think this is incredibly useful, which is just what is the right posting frequency per platform in 2026? And this is all based on data and science.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, 7 to 10 posts a week. So you can post once and a half per day. Instagram, they found the sweet spot 3 to 5. TikTok, 2 to 5. LinkedIn, 2 to 5. YouTube, once a week. I work with agents on YouTube. We do a 20-minute video once a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that algorithm wants from us. But what I would be thinking if I was looking at this, Jimmy, and actually, I'm going to pose this as a question to you. Okay. Put yourself, like, use your own data for a moment,
Sure.
but put yourself in the mindset of the people watching. Like, let's say you do buy into this idea that you need to post more,
Mm-hmm.
but you're already posting, call it 3 to 5 times on IG.
Mm-hmm.
How should this data impact you specifically as far as you want to post more, but you don't want to kind of go 2 a day on Instagram because this is saying that that's a bad idea.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about, I actually I have this guy I'm now working with. I pay him $7,000 a month to
Mm,
help me develop a social media strategy. And I did my onboarding call with him last month. His name's Sky.
yeah,
And so you're gonna start seeing some more stuff from me coming in April. But
good.
he said something that was really interesting. Okay. This might be worth the first $7,000 I paid him. He says, you have no idea what quality is, Jimmy, because you don't post enough to figure out what people want to see more of. And so
Hmm.
because I kept saying, I want to make sure that I'm not posting too much, Sky. I want to make sure I'm sharing really high quality stuff. He goes, you don't know what it is. He goes, you're not
Yeah,
posting enough to be able to get that information. So
correct.
part of my advice, and here's a free $7,000 advice, right? Okay. You have to pay Sky, we can just give it to you right now, which is if you start posting a lot more than even what's suggested here, the
Hmm.
market will give you signals. Oh, we like that,
Correct.
Chris. Hey, I like
Yep.
that guess the price campaign. Hey, I like that sneak peek campaign. Hey, I like this. Well, then
Yep.
now you kind of know what your
Mhm.
bangers are, and that
Yep.
becomes what you post. So,
Yeah.
but you can't, Chris, you can't get there unless you sort of step over the line with volume, is the point.
Correct. And by the way, even if you're great at this, only 5% of your audience is going to see your posts.
Correct. Yep.
So it doesn't even matter if you post 4 times because it's going to probably be seen by different people. But let me address that head on because I saw some people in the comments, right? They're saying, do people even want to see that many posts? Right? Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have to do is take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and you have to listen to the consumer,
That's right.
not to your own personal preferences. So, as an example, people fall into one of two buckets in
Mm-hmm.
most cases. They're either left brain or right brain. If they're left brain, they're logical. What do they find appealing? Stats, trends, research, experts, examples, trusted sources.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are emotional. And what are they drawn to? Visuals, color, stories, testimonials, relationships. So what I would do is I would look at this and I actually am very interested in this. I'm not just asking this to make you guys drop something in the chat, but I want you to tell me in the chat, do you self-identify today with your marketing, not you? Is your marketing more on the logic or the emotion side?
Mm-hmm.
And then, or both. You can say both. I just don't think there's a lot of both.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think there's a gender thing here too, Jimmy, sometimes. I don't know the date on that, so I'm not going to just guess. But like, to be clear, my wife is logical as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm emotional. So I'm like, buy with emotion, justify with logic, right?
Sure.
but
Yeah.
but like she's like logic.
Yeah.
Let's leave the emotion out of this, Chris, because it's a
Sure.
big decision. So that would be, and kind of the theme over the next couple slides is how do you
Mm-hmm.
create more content than you are?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is a very simple takeaway. Start creating more stuff that's in the bucket you're not.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, and I haven't counted all the E's and L's, but it's about half,
Sure.
right? So
Sure.
that's a good example of you guys realizing, like, oh crap, I'm not even putting anything out that appeals to 50% of the world.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's important to think about. Now, this next technique, and this again is how do I scale my marketing and how do I tackle this challenge of more than I'm doing is better? And it's not just more for the sake of more. Jimmy, I'm going to let you explain this because the just to give people some inside baseball, we wanted to come up with an acronym that's really easy to remember. And Jimmy's first suggestion was WAP, WAP. And I told him that Cardi B already has that acronym
Yes.
and that we should not use
Apparently.
WAP. So we pivoted
Yes.
to GPS, but I think that this is absolutely brilliant. So take your time and walk people through this concept because I would say the simple high level idea is you can triple your output by tweaking what you're already inputting.
Well, the interesting thing about this, Chris, is that if the first time your audience, your database, your farm hears about your listing is when it's on Zillow, that you're doing it wrong. And
Mhm.
and and I know that's maybe tough to hear because many of you like pride yourself in being great at marketing, but the reality is that you have this incredible asset that you have this unique opportunity to promote. And what I think is so insanely powerful is to squeeze every bit of juice out of this thing. So we use this acronym GPS, basically saying before you do the thing, we want you to market like you gossip, which
Mhm.
is, hey, I shouldn't be telling you this. Hey, I know this is probably something that like a lot of people are going to be interested in. So I want to make sure I put it in front of your radar first. You are kind of building up the fact that, hey, I'm going to do this thing. So when I go to gossip, right? When I say gossip, I'm saying I am promoting the fact that I am going to do this thing to
Mhm.
everybody and anybody who will listen. And the framework that I like to use here, team, is sort of the three A's, which is alert your farm, alert your database, and alert your
Mhm.
follow your alert your farm, alert your database, and alert your following. So when I think about
Mhm.
like promoting the thing, Chris, I'm always like hit my farm, hit my database, hit my following.
Yep.
Then I'm going to do the thing. Then I'm going to
Mhm.
launch the thing. And it doesn't make a difference if it's a new listing, price reduction, open house. I'm going to say, okay, this thing's happening. Here's all the information. So to
Mhm.
be clear, the G is really about
Mhm.
telling you that I'm going to do the thing. The P is now I'm actually doing the thing. I'm now promoting the open house. Hey, open house is Saturday at 1 p.m. Hey, we
Yep.
just did a price reduction on this home, $45,000. Here's all the details. Hey, we just basically brought this home to market. Here's all the information. Here's where you get the photos, etc. So now I'm actually
Mhm.
promoting the thing. The movie is no
Mhm.
longer a trailer. You can go see it.
Yep.
And this is the part that everybody misses because most people do the P, some people do the G. But the S in GPS
Mhm.
is where the
Mhm.
magic is. This
Yep.
is where you turn the corner and really
Mhm.
get people invested. So this is where you're like, hey, I just held an open house for my home at 123 Main Street. We had 8 people coming through. Here's why this matters.
Correct.
And then here's what you can do with this information. So I use the acronym just to give you more acronyms for today's session. I use the
Yeah.
acronym AIR, which is
Mhm.
alert, insight, and then response. Like, what do I want them to achieve here? And so
Hmm.
when you summarize something, you're like, hey, Chris, I just held the open house this weekend. We had 8 buyers come through. It tells me
Yep.
that the spring market maybe even coming on a little bit earlier than it was last year. Here's what you can do about it if you're interested in it. So every
Yeah.
piece of content that we
Hmm.
break down today, you're going to have
Yep.
the opportunity to basically put it through this model of GPS.
Yeah. And I'll give a couple of real world examples, but I want to ask in the chat, and this is for somebody that's maybe a little savvy. I just need you to try to do this while I'm covering the next two things. If you have an email or a Facebook post that you've put up recently about a listing,
Mm-hmm.
drop a screenshot in the chat on Zoom. And I'm going to show you guys a magical way to execute GPS. But if you have a screenshot that you can get to quickly, that's
Yep.
got a listing and copy, and it's got maybe it's an email from your email tool,
Sure.
please drop that in the chat and I'll use that in a second.
Hey,
But this
Chris,
is
real,
an,
real, real real
yeah,
quick, I just want
sure.
to call something out here. We have 1,000 people live with on us right now. I want to remind everybody when if we actually are now filled, we're capped out. You like no more people can join today's session. So just
Yeah,
make sure if you leave and you try to get back in, I just want to call it out. Like you may not be able to get back in. So like if you got to
yeah.
take a call, like keep your screen running, take your call, come back because we are now officially sold out of this training, Chris.
Yeah, this is awesome. And if you guys are sharing on social media and you're tagging us, make sure you mention that it was sold out. So this is an example of GPS listing marketing
Yeah.
in the example of a Facebook ad. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
the plan and the prepare would be, hey, we're about to launch a $200 Facebook ad for this listing this week. And so you might send that to your database and say, before we do that, would you like me to send you the details? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
about to get in front of half the town. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be the gossip. We're about to do blank. Step two, put the ad up for the listing and promote it. What Jimmy's saying is step three, summarize. Hey, the listing that we promoted this week got 8,500 people to see it. 640 people clicked on it. 120 people commented on it. I have a feeling it's not going to be on the market for much longer. So gossip, promote,
Mm-hmm.
summarize.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you think about the email, this is exactly the one we just mentioned. This is a great example of a GPS email. Before 30,000 people see this listing,
Mm-hmm.
right? On Friday, we're running ads that will put 123 Main Street in front of 30,000 people in East Orlando. We haven't launched yet. We're sending you this now because once those ads run, we're going to get some serious inquiries. I don't know if the timing's right for you or someone you know, but if there's any curiosity, this is the window. My
Yep.
favorite line, the last line. Reply, and I'll send you the details before it goes viral.
Mm-hmm.
That is GPS in action. Now, I'm getting a bunch of, I guess you can't put screenshots, Jimmy, to be clear, because people are dropping links, which is fine. I'm going to try to use the first one that somebody gave. So
Sounds
here's a
good.
listing. Okay. I'm going to skip that because it's a 3D website. Let's see what Denise dropped. Yeah, this, I mean, wouldn't you say this is a pretty traditional post from a
Yeah.
realtor?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to screenshot this. Okay. Boom. Now check this out. I am now going to go to Chat GPT because what I did is I actually built, because I know people are going to struggle with GPS, but they're going
Mm-hmm.
to love the concept. So what I did for you guys is I actually built a custom GPT that you guys can all use for free. It's called GPS Campaign Builder. And what I love about it, Jimmy, this is my favorite hack that I've come up with in a long time, is I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to grab that screenshot from that Instagram post.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, oops, hold on. I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to drop it into the custom GPT. And I'm not even going to type anything. Watch this. I'm just going to hit enter. And what this GPT does is it calls it out. This is purely a promote piece. There's no build up or follow up. You're missing the anticipation. You're missing the proof.
Mm-hmm.
Let's turn it into a full campaign. So it actually took that listing and that campaign, and it's actually creating the GPS for you.
Yeah.
Let me know in the chat if you guys appreciate this. Just put a GPS for me because honestly, I trained the hell out of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically, you like, watch this, Jimmy. I'm going to go back because I feel bad. Um, the lady that was first or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to her link. Actually, Command Shift T. Should open it. Maybe not. Watch this though. Here's another thing you can do with it, which is crazy cool. Okay. I'm going to take a link to one of our favorite clients' listings, Shannon Gillette.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually just go to your website. Now, remember, Jimmy said this, but I want to underline it. He said, you could do this for any stage. So this property could be coming soon. It could be just listed. It could be price reduction. It could be open house. Watch this, you guys. I'm just going to put the link in the
Mm-hmm.
GPT and hit enter. I didn't even type one thing.
Yep.
And this thing is so smart that it literally grabs from here. This is
Mm-hmm.
active listing, but it's likely sitting a bit. And it creates the GPS campaign just from one link.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to drop the link to this in the chat. I saw a million people, Jimmy, dropping it. You guys can also go to the GPT store. Basically, it's free, but you go to
Yep.
the GPT store and you can download it from there.
Yeah.
And what I would recommend is just pinning it to your sidebar
Yeah.
because that way it's easy to access.
Well, I think what's really useful about this tool, Chris, and I know how much people appreciate you sharing this, because I think one of the things that we're trying to, and we'll cover more examples as we go on here today to give you some really specific examples, but we want to start the first sort of 45 minutes of today's session with you going over like, here's some concepts. I'm going to recap because I think it is important to recap. Here's some concepts that you should be aware of. Here's some
Hmm.
tools that you can use. And then let's go ahead and apply that in the real world to give you some examples. Someone mentioned earlier, this sounds like basically you guys are trying to sell social media services. Trust us, we're trying to sell you something today, but it ain't social media
Yeah.
services. We'll get into that in
Yeah.
a second. But let
Yeah.
me
I
come
used to
back
have
here.
people ask me if I had stock in Apple, because I would recommend iPhones and MacBooks so passionately. But we are selling attention,
That's right. That's right. Let me
and that's really what drives every business is just people knowing that you exist. So we're
Mhm.
really good at it and we get excited about it, but no, we are not stockholders in TikTok.
One thing to say too is familiarity breeds trust. And we are in the trust business. So if people aren't familiar with your brand because you aren't posting enough or sharing enough or creating enough, it is probably
Yeah.
the biggest barrier or bottleneck to your growth. On that same topic, Chris, let me just recap real quick before we move forward. Beginning,
Yep.
we talked about this basic idea that, hey, most agents' homes are sitting on the market longer than they have the
Hmm.
ability to actually promote it. So we're going to solve that problem. The second thing that we communicated is that posting more, actually sharing more, creating more is the key to actually getting more exposure, keeping your sellers happier, and then ultimately selling your houses. Number three is you got to be experimenting. Right. And we gave an example of one of the experimentations we gave you. We gave you sort of a
Hmm.
breakdown of social media, what to be posting. We gave you this
Hmm.
concept of the different types of ways to think about posting, whether you're appealing to the logic side of the brain or the emotion side of the brain. And I would
Hmm.
recap that, Chris, as like stats or stories. Share one or
Hmm.
the other is the point. We gave you the
Yep.
GPS formula. So you say, hey, we want you to think about it. And now here's a tool to actually create your GPS content with either an image or a link, and it's a free GPT. All right, Chris, that's the
Yep.
recap. I'm going to keep doing that because I
Yep.
want to make sure everyone's dialed in. Let's get into this concept of the vault because this is
Yeah.
something I think is going to be one of the most useful parts of today's session.
Yeah. This is. People are going to love this. And the reality is that most amazing marketing can be applied to any phase. So
Yep.
as I was researching this, I was like, man, I love this idea, but it doesn't fall into just one of the phases, month one, month two, or month three, let's call it. It actually could be applied to any phase. So these are evergreen ideas, okay? Evergreen ideas
Mm-hmm.
that you could deploy in phase one, two, or three.
Yep.
Now we're going to get into specific phase one, specific phase two, specific phase three, but these are ideas that you could apply to whatever phase you're in now or your listing happens to be in. The first one is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, Jimmy. I'm starting with dessert. This is Claude Chrome, okay? Claude for Chrome. It's right up here in my
Yep.
browser. So you have to add Claude, which is the one on the left, to Chrome, which is the one on the right, and watch what you can do. I'm going to go back to Shannon's listing, okay? And I'm going to open up Claude for Chrome. It just pops up on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, give me amazing marketing ideas for this listing and include prompts for AI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Pretty straightforward. Well, what's happening with AI right now is AI can do the work. So it's like, okay, here's my plan. I'm going to read the page, I'm going to analyze it, and then I'm going to create ideas. Perfect, Claude. Go do your thing. Now, what's really cool is I can go back to work now.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my favorite thing about like Victor, which we've been promoting, and Claude for Chrome, because I can just go back to work and now it's doing its thing and I can move on.
Yep.
But what it's actually doing over here, it'll tell you what it's doing. Hey, it's retrieving the description, it's scraping the page, it's looking at the page. It just took a screenshot. Like it's using the internet for me.
Yeah.
And when it's done, and this was pretty quick, Tim, you have to admit that was pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a full breakdown of the details I gathered, followed by a comprehensive marketing playbook with AI prompts for each.
Mm-hmm.
So it bulleted all the details: cinematic hero video, luxury lifestyle reel, AI generated lifestyle imagery. And it's actually giving me all of the prompts to
Mm-hmm.
run all of these ideas. The Who Lives Here buyer persona campaign, create targeted ads aimed at different types of buyer personas. How about an interactive brochure? I didn't even know AI could make that. Here's
Yep.
the prompts for it. And on and on and on. And it's still going. It's going to go for a while. So this is my favorite new AI innovation is that it can actually do the work for me. So you
Yep.
can go to any listing details page on your own site and you can say, give me a bunch of ideas. And obviously that listing could have been coming soon. It could have been a price reduction recently. And the
Mm-hmm.
AI would have recognized that. It would have recognized there was an open house scheduled. So I think Claude for Chrome is a 100% game changer. Anything to add there, Jimmy?
Well, just one clarifying question. Could you
Mhm.
imagine using Claude for Chrome, pulling up, let's say, in your Instagram feed of, let's say, the most recent promotions you've done from the listing and do the same thing? Do you see it own?
Mhm.
Like, is there any kind of restrictions you see around this where you're like, okay, you could do it for your website. That's one option.
Yeah.
You maybe could
Yep.
pull up a feed from your social media profile or maybe log into your email tool and like have it like analyze that. Like, give us
Yeah.
some just perspective on how far you can
Dude.
stretch this thing.
You can stretch it as far as you need to, and I've done exactly what you're mentioning. So one example is I opened up my email tool.
Mm-hmm.
I had one in Kit and one in Beehive,
Yep.
and I said, analyze the Chris list and find the commonalities in the subject lines that get the highest open rate
Yep.
and in the email calls to action that get the highest click-through rate.
Mm-hmm.
And then create a prompt I can use to
Yep.
generate more like those. I did that. It was amazing. Then I did exactly what you're talking about for my Instagram and my X.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just opened up my Instagram in the browser
Yep.
and I said, analyze my Instagram post. I have my profile link up and break down for me what works the best and why.
Yep.
And then, by the way, send me ideas every morning that are in line with the winners. Dude, I got 100. This is crazy. I got 190 times more engagement in the first week on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
from doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, wow. So yeah, it can research and analyze anything. Someone's saying they did this for their LinkedIn. So obviously, Jimmy, the class today is about marketing your listings, but I
Mm-hmm.
love that people are thinking outside the box, and I love that you're asking that.
Yeah. So let's talk about this because this next
Hmm.
strategy, by the way, is uh and I'll let you kind of pull it up here because this is going to kind of blow your mind in terms of
Hmm.
how what you can do. Again, going back to the core problem we're trying to solve. I want to keep repeating this because I want to make sure everyone gets this. The core
Hmm.
problem is you've got a client who is the home's been on the market for 45 days. You got no offers, okay?
Yeah.
No showings. There's
Hmm.
nothing going on. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, at that point,
Yeah.
yes, we know one out of every four listings expire. Well, at that point, that listing has like a 50% chance of expiring, getting picked
Hmm.
up by another agent, relisting at a better price, and then selling. So, like the
Hmm.
state, like what trying to say here, Chris, as we go through this isn't just
Hmm.
marketing your listing. The stakes are really high in that kind of
Hmm.
danger zone. So this
Yeah.
next strategy, I think, is one that can really help people who are in like by the way, just put a W in the chat if you've got listings that are in the danger zone right now. Meaning like
Yeah.
you've got no marketing activity, you've got like you're it's like, man, this person, like I'm just stressing they're gonna fire me any minute.
Yeah.
Like the wind blows the wrong way. I'm getting that phone.
Yeah.
Of course,
And by
look
the
at
way, Jimmy, it's great that people can see each other's answers too, because then it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm not the only one.
We get
You
it,
know,
right? we
that's
get
how
it, we
I
get
would
it.
feel. Like half the chat is saying W. So
Yep.
they do get it. So this strategy, Jimmy, is
Hmm.
crazy cool. And I'm going to teach you guys how to create a beautiful, beautiful video for any listing, any room, any property, horizontal or vertical. Okay.
Yep.
And you guys only need three things. Okay. Step one, you need images of the property. You have that. What I was just doing over here is I was doing a screenshot of one of Shannon's listings. Step two, this is what's crazy. There's a GPT in Chat GPT. Somebody said, what are the other ones Chris has? Well, here's another one I have. This is maybe the coolest one, Jimmy. And this is actually the one that inspired us to actually do the no prompt.
Hmm.
Okay. So this one's called Luxury Architect Image to Video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a listing photo. I'll get the one that I just screenshotted from Shannon's listing. And again, I don't have to type anything because the GPT is trained. It already knows what I'm here for.
Hmm.
It's going to look at the image. Wait till you see what it does, Jimmy. It's going to create a prompt that perfectly turns that image
Hmm.
into a 4K video of that room. And I know people might be skeptical about this. So, step one, get a listing photo. Step two, use this amazing GPT that's free in the GPT store. Step three is we're going to use what's called Google VO3. Okay.
Hmm.
Google VO3. Now, I personally use this inside of a tool called Higgsfield.
Yep.
So that's why it looks a little different. But I'm using Google VO 3.1's model.
Hmm.
And all I have to do now, I'm going to grab that image. That's my start frame. That's all you have to put. And then I'm going to paste that prompt that the GPT made for me. And now, and you can make some other choices, 1080p, right? Cost more credits to do it nicer. But I'm just going to do 1080p, 16 by 9. I'll just do a 6 second generation so it's a little faster. And now it's going to take that image and you're going to swear on your life that someone had a 4K camera and shot that room.
Hmm.
Now, it does take a second to generate, which I'm completely fine with. Again, I go back to work while it does that. But let me show you guys an example of one that I already did.
Hmm.
So this is a final video of a room using this technique.
Yep.
Here's another one. Kitchen, everybody's favorite room. Watch this.
Hmm.
This is not a slideshow video. This is
Hmm.
one of my favorite ones with curb appeal. And this one, it actually added audio. And
Mm-hmm.
it even shows audio that matched the vibe. Jimmy, that
Yep.
is a listing photo. That is not a video.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wild. Okay. Look at this one. This is some mansion, some rich person with, my opinion, a little bit of gaudy taste, but do you? The fire is flickering, Jimmy.
Yep.
Okay. So the reason it's doing that is
Sure.
because the prompt that was written was
Yep.
specific to the picture that was uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, again, take an image, use the GPT to get the prompt for the image, go to VO3 or one of the AI video tools and drop it in.
Yep.
Now, it's choppy because I'm on a live stream with 1,000 people and I'm trying to, download stuff and upload stuff and I'm presenting. But on my computer, it's not choppy. It's
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. And Jimmy, talk about that for a second. While you do that, I'm going to grab the link to the GPT because I know people want that.
Yeah, so the lesson here for us is every single photo you have of the listing can become a video. Every single
Yep.
photo you have of a listing, you can add audio to. Every single one of those videos, now you could upload into one of the short form channels that really crave new content. You could throw an
Yep.
overlay on top of the thing, and then you're done. So again, going
Yep.
back to our earlier point was we got to crank up the volume. So our sellers see us marketing their home everywhere all the time. We don't have the
Hmm.
time to do that. We can't do a whole full blown campaign every single time. So how do you solve that problem?
Yeah.
You take the big and you make it small, Chris.
Correct.
All right,
Yeah.
and then you amplify
Yeah.
it.
Hmm. And so, because that could have just been the yard, the
Correct.
pool, it could
Correct.
have been vertical, could have been horizontal. By the way, you can do like six of them,
Mm-hmm.
download them, and then stitch them together.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
like for those that like, I want to go back to the headline of this slide: how to create videos for any property. There's a lot of agents that they're not going to go do a 4K video for a $312,000 listing.
That's right.
I get it, but why not now? Why wouldn't you do it if you have a tool like that, which
One
is
thing real
crazy?
quick while
Yeah,
we're pulling it up,
go ahead.
Chris, and we'll go over two more ideas before we get into the actual phase one, phase two, and phase three here. And by
Hmm.
the way, if you're coming in a little bit late, welcome to the 2 hour training on the 90-day listing marketing plan. We're breaking down first how to actually create, how to build the machine to be able to dramatically increase the amount of content you're creating without feeling
Hmm.
overwhelmed. Uh, in the chat, let me know, because this is going to be important a little bit later on. How many active listings do you currently have right now? Just in the chat right now. 3, 5, 7, 10, 2, whatever it is. Let us know in the chat right now.
Hmm.
How many active listings do you currently have right now? All right,
Hmm.
Chris. So like if you're someone like, let's say, Candy, who's got 9 listings, she could
Hmm.
literally be creating 30 reels a week, if not more, on the
Yeah.
back of just using that one technique. And again, I know that feels like a lot of content, and that's the point. We're trying to make sure
Yep.
that, and then let me just say one more thing before we move on, Chris, which is part
Hmm.
of what we're doing here. And part of the reason we built Beacon, part of the reason we have all these new tools
Hmm.
coming out with Beacon, we'll cover here in a minute. Part of the reason
Yep.
why this matters is because you want to, in the mind of the seller, your client, you want to eliminate exposure from the reason why their home isn't selling.
Yeah.
Because the number one reason they believe their home isn't selling is because you haven't been promoting enough. They don't believe it's the price, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
part of what we're doing, you guys with me on this? Like you have to eliminate the home
Yeah.
getting enough exposure for the reason why it hasn't sold. And so
Correct.
by doing these things, all you're doing is you're creating a
Hmm.
body of evidence that, okay, we've done literally everything. Okay. So,
Yeah.
like, now we can have the price conversation. But, like, if you
Hmm.
don't do these things and you just do like the price reduction post or the coming soon post or the open house post, that's
Yeah.
all you do, there's not enough body of evidence and proof that you've squeezed everything out of this orange here. All right. So, Chris, do you want to talk about Beacon or you want to get into one more idea first?
Yeah. We can go into one more idea, but I was just, when you're talking about a body of evidence,
Yep.
I think sometimes people forget that the most important person to make sure sees these creative campaigns is the owner and the
That's right.
seller. So we'll
That's
talk
right.
about Beacon in a second. But two last tips before we do. Co-branding, right? your logo is not that famous. Even real estate logos of famous companies, the balloon with Remax and maybe Sotheby's, like there's a few. Compass has a beautiful logo, but for the most part, people don't really have an affinity to Coldwell Banker's logo. But
Mm-hmm.
you know what they love? They love Starbucks and
Mm-hmm.
they love Target and they love Harvard and they
Yep.
love McDonald's and they love Disney, right?
Yep.
So, what I want you guys to think about, and this is actually such a smart idea. I saw an agent do this in a video, but I don't think it's as easy to pull off in a video as it is with a graphic.
Yep.
So, whether it's a new listing, a price reduced, an open house, or a sold, I love this idea of focusing on the drive times
Mm-hmm.
from your future home to your favorite places.
Yep.
So now all of a sudden, this house is 5 minutes from Starbucks. It's 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes from Target,
Yep.
right? It's 8 minutes from McDonald's. And yeah, somebody could go on Google Maps and kind of spend all day figuring all that out, but you should do that for them. And Jimmy, this was so easy to build. And I showed this is the video of Shannon's listing. It's freaking crazy how nice
Mm-hmm.
that turned out.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm using to do this is once again from Google, Nana Banana Pro. Okay. So if this one, there were just so many logos. I thought it was a little obnoxious, but Cheesecake Factory, Hard Rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the prompt, it was actually very simple. Create a map with a home for sale at the center and show
Mm-hmm.
the driving times from the home to schools, shops, beaches, restaurants. And then it says, make sure the landmarks are famous like Starbucks, Disney, etc.
Yep.
And so this was the final output. So the only
Mm-hmm.
difference would be you would have wanted to use a photo of your listing in the middle. So I would have
Yep.
just given it a source photo and then done the exact same prompt.
Mm-hmm.
But this is actually Nano Banana Pro, or you can also use Nana Banana 2. And that's how you can co-brand where now all of a sudden, yeah, you're a realtor doing marketing, but like Saks Fifth Avenue is on your marketing
Mm-hmm.
piece or
Mm-hmm.
Chanel, like the Millennium Mall has every, Louis V, like whatever you want it to be.
Sure.
So I love this idea. I think it's simple, a simple way to visually show what's beyond the four walls of the home.
Yep.
The last one, Jimmy, is newsjacking. So here we're kind of like brand jacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Co-branding.
Mm-hmm.
With this idea, we're actually newsjacking, which
Mm-hmm.
is what is the most popular thing happening right now that we can piggyback or attach our marketing to so that we can get some of the sub attention from the main attention. What do
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that? Well, last Sunday was the Oscars. Everybody knows that that was last Sunday. You know what came out today, Jimmy?
Hmm. Oh, you were mentioning the Scream trailer, Scream 7, right?
Well, no, Scream 7 came out recently, but today specifically, the trailer for Dune 3 just dropped.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the idea is these kinds of things are happening all the time, whether it's Taylor Swift's wedding, whether it's the World Cup that's coming up. So check this out. What I do is I use a tool called Lovable. This is what people would call a vibe coding tool.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually create pop culture themed single property websites.
Yep.
So I did this one last week. Scream Estate. What's your favorite scary room? Enter if you dare. Call the survivor. Do you like scary houses?
Mm-hmm.
And the entire website is branded like an
Yep.
actual Scream movie. Crime scene gallery.
Yep. Sure.
It's got the rules of this house, the kitchen,
Yeah.
two-car garage because every final girl needs an escape vehicle, modern appliances, and a knife block that would make Ghostface jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even got trivia. Do you like scary movies? What's your favorite scary movie? Jimmy, this is one prompt.
Yeah.
I took an actual listing details page
Mm-hmm.
and I gave it to Lovable and I said, turn this into a Scream themed website. I could literally take the same one, turn this into a Dune 3 themed website. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to, I don't know, need to know how to code. I
Yep.
don't need to know how to do anything. And if I were to go way back, like I did a single property site for a NASCAR fan. I did one for a Chicago Cubs fan.
Yep.
So it's sort of twofold. One is pop culture newsjacking. Two is if you know your clients really well or you know the buyers that you're looking for, you can literally create a website just for one buyer.
That's
That's
right.
really fun. So you can see now it's drafting the Dune 3 visuals, it's updating the page with the Dune components. I love that idea. Super simple, and it gives you the ability to lean into what's already trending.
Chris, before I forget, that's you, as you're going through that, right? You know, I'm more logical than emotional. I'm like your
Yeah.
wife, right? In that sense, if that isn't obvious, I have like the emotional range of like an air fryer,
Yeah,
but
you're my work wife.
that's right. So like it is the thing is that um what's interesting to me is like
Hmm.
if I was going on a listing presentation, this is not about this, but if I was going on a listing presentation, I would
Hmm.
100% build a a individualized like home page for their listing to sort of as I'm kind of going to prepare for it to show them, hey, this is what it's going to look like. So not even
Yeah.
call pop culture. I would just do like more on like the hey, I just designed this thing for you just to give you a sense of how we might want to position your house when it hits the market. So I'm just a
Yeah.
huge fan of this idea.
Well, let me show you something else that I did with Lovable. Same exact idea,
Yep.
but this would be more for you or for my wife. I created a net proceeds calculator.
Sure.
Same thing, Lovable. Told it what I wanted and it built it. So you could come in and say, well, our house is going to sell for 750.
Yep.
Our mortgage that we have left is 140.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Massachusetts,
Yep.
and it actually calculates your net proceeds immediately and
Yep.
breaks it all down. And there's more advanced triggers too. So what I did is I built that in Lovable over here, and then I just bought a domain, sellerNetProceeds.com.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you could buy the domain for the address of the listing, and you could absolutely do what you just mentioned, which I think is super smart.
Yeah, so I asked a question earlier, Chris, which was how many active listings do you have right now? And if you go back and look, if you guys all scroll up for a second, you'll see the vast majority on people today's call have anywhere between like 2 and 5 listings. We got some players who have 35 listings, 25 listings, over 30 listings on the team. So
Mhm.
if you're someone who has like 2 listings right now, and that's kind of what you average, and you want to get to 5, if you're someone who's got 25 listings and you want to sell them all without having to spend 95% of your time on admin work, one of the reasons we built Beacon, and I'm going to go through Beacon here with you for a second because I think it's super important.
Mhm.
One of the reasons we built Beacon is because the two most important things in today's market as an agent are number one, your ability to differentiate. How do
Mhm.
you separate yourself from the competition? How do you look different, market different, promote different, position yourself different? Because there are 1.5 million agents still, and there
Mhm.
just ain't that many houses to sell. And so the
Yep.
biggest challenge agents have today from a marketing perspective is they gotta look different than everybody else. The second
Mhm.
piece is communication. This is
Yep.
about not only communicating to the world and prospects, but also to their clients. And
Mhm.
so when we think about Beacon, and we probably have some people who use Beacon in the chat. If you're using Beacon, like let us know in the chat right now. Give us a yes, I'm using Beacon. Let us know, share your feedback in the chat. But Chris, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you want to stop
Mhm.
sharing for a second, I'm
Sure.
going to go ahead and pull up my screen and just show you this. For those of you who aren't familiar with Beacon, I'm going to kind of walk you through it at a high level what we built.
Mhm.
So at Beacon, and I'll go ahead and log in real quick so you guys can see this. At Beacon, we have built a tool that allows you to organize all of the things that you're doing to help sell your houses in one
Mhm.
place. Today,
Yep.
Chris, to give you some perspective, most agents today are having to basically go to Zillow or go to homes.com or realtor.com or go to social media, take screenshots of what they're doing, kind of try to go to
Mhm.
Canva and organize it, post it, and then eventually kind of share it with their customers.
Yep.
That process, by the way, takes anywhere between 30 to 90 minutes, depending on how comprehensive you want to be. So we built this product. We released it in late October. We now have thousands of agents using it, creating thousands of beacons every single month. as a way to make sure that you get the credit you deserve for the work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is important. So within Beacon, as an example, because I think it's important to kind of go through the details. Within Beacon, whether it's your like logging your website activity, social media activity, showings and open houses, and I'll actually, Chris, if I want to go and stop sharing for 1 second, I'll pull up a real world example. So I think it'll be actually really
Yeah.
helpful to see this.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that you're doing to promote your listing is now going to
Mm-hmm.
be in one place. And as I pull this up, I'm going to give you a sort of a breakdown of this because this is going to really help you understand kind of how this all works. So we mentioned Shannon Gillette earlier, Chris. So I'll go ahead and pull up her account.
Mm-hmm.
So in Shannon's account, Shannon right now currently carries, looks like over 100 listings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chris, if you were to basically imagine the administrative work involved in promoting 100, basically managing 100 listings,
Yeah.
it's extraordinary. So Shannon, in this
Mm-hmm.
case, she's got her listing. We create an executive summary. We track her online performance. She can log her showings. She's got an analysis of the market. Everything is in one place.
Mm-hmm.
And so we built this tool. And many of you probably are aware of Beacon, but if you're not, we built this tool for agents right now who have 2 listings, but you want to get 5, you want to get 10. For everyone who has like 10 or 20 or more listings, we built this product so you can manage the entire process. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I want to show 2 things that we've been working on because these
Sure.
2 features are, I think, just mind blowing. The first
Yeah.
is we started to build a tool called Portfolio that we released. And what Portfolio is, and actually in the chat, let me know if I wanted to find, if I wanted to find a body of work of all the things you do to sell a house and all the results you get, do you have that available online? Do you have your own portfolio? I mean, if you sold 20 houses last year, where would I go to see that? Where would I go see your marketing, the results you get? Is that available online anywhere? Put a yes or no in the chat for me. Because, Chris, what we found to be the case is
Mm-hmm.
that for most people, like Lynn, like Mickey, like Denise, like Norman, like Juan, like if a seller wants to hire you, they want to see your body of work. So we built
Yeah.
a tool that takes all of the content, all of the social media posts, all of the marketing you've done for your listing, and we roll it up into a tool called Portfolio.
Yep.
And this is just, I mean, this, by the way, this is included in Beacon. Just beautifully designed. Hey, here's all my listings. Here's all the results that we're getting. Here's a map of all of our solds. You can use your listings or your teams. Here's how we compete against the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's how we're doing on social media. Here's how we're doing online with, some of our social media posts. Here's our,
Yeah.
our online reviews. Everything is in one place, which
Yep.
is, again, going back to your earlier point with Beacon is like, if you're doing all this work, part of it is making sure you have the assets to promote it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
2 more things I want to show, Chris, before we get into the offer today, which is
Yeah.
one of the biggest requests we've gotten from Beacon
Mm-hmm.
is integrating with Showing Time and Aligned. And
Mm.
so we're now about like tomorrow is the first day this goes into beta. We
Yeah.
are now going to be able to automatically ingest. Yes, Melissa, we listen to you. Thank you, Scott. We listen to you. We now are going to be able to
Finally.
finally,
We're
we hear
five
you.
months old, but I get it. I get it.
We
I
hear you.
understand.
We're now going to be able to. Part of this tool is just. I mean, we're making this stuff so much more easy to automate all of this. We're now
Yeah.
going to be able to automatically log every single showing feedback into your beacon. Okay,
Yeah.
which is going to be, I mean, a massive value add for you. And then
Yeah.
finally, there's one more thing I want to show. And I'll pull it
Mm-hmm.
up so everyone can see this, which is we're now building a tool that's going to allow you to take every single listing that you sell and every single listing that you create within Beacon and you sell to turn it into the marketing material you need to promote that sale. This is going to be our phase 3 section, Chris. When we get into phase 3, we talk about like just sold, all the things you're going to do here. So if I
Yep.
click into like, let's say an existing listing, I can now create a
Mm-hmm.
success story for that listing using Beacon. So this is going to be all the marketing information, all the social media posts, all how you did against the comps, the activities. We're going to be able to build you a real-time success story of that particular home. So right now, the problem, of course, is that most agents sell a lot of houses, but you wouldn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're using AI to take all the information from Beacon to build like these unbelievable, I mean, the world's best success stories in the platform. So, at a high level, the reason we wanted to basically take this opportunity to talk about Beacon is because if you have a lot of listings or you're in a position where you want to get more listings, you have to have a listing management system. You have to have a place where you can organize all the things you're doing for your home and be able to
Yep.
communicate really easily with the seller. So, Chris, I know we have a special offer today that we want to cover. If you want to pull up your screen, we could share that. But for
Yeah.
everyone who's tuning in today who wants to use Beacon, we have a killer offer for you today that we want to make sure is available to you.
Yeah. So basically, there's a bonus if you sign up right now. If you already have Beacon, portfolio is included and you're locked in. It's not going to be free forever. So, number one, 7-day free trial for anyone that tries it. I saw someone ask in the chat, is Beacon affordable if you do 12 to 15 sales per year? Yeah, it's 99 a month.
Mm-hmm.
This is very, very affordable, especially considering you're using it on transactions that you actually make money from. So that's very important. So if you sign up right now, you can scan the QR code or you can go to buildyourbeacon.com. We have a couple of bonuses. Number one, 7-day free trial.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, portfolio locked in for life. Number three, you get a free lifetime membership to my community called the Conversion Club, which has hundreds of live streams and trainings just like this one. And then number four, during your first 7 days, while it's still a free trial, you can actually hop on a live training and coaching call with me next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the URL there, buildyourbeacon.com/training. Jimmy, if you can drop that in the chat. Every single one of you that has Beacon and every single one of you that signs up right now, go in the chat, register using that link, because I'm not just going to walk you through Beacon. I'm going to walk you through portfolio, and I'm also going
Mm-hmm.
to start to show you how the showing time integration works. Two last things on this, and then we'll get back to the second half of the class. Canada, all my Canadians. People have been asking us to launch in Canada, Jimmy. I want people to know that we are actively working on that, that we are probably closer than people realize. And if you want to be a part of the beta for Beacon in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
just send me an email. Chris at theconversioncode.com. Chris at theconversioncode.com. If you email me, I will make sure that you get a chance to try the beta for Beacon in Canada. The last thing I would say is we've had people that don't have a lot of listings, Jimmy, or they have one listing, two listings, and they don't think it's right for them. Well, the cool thing is, because somebody in the chat said, does it does the portfolio work retroactively?
Yep.
It does. So the portfolio is powered by Beacon once you start building beacons. But as soon as you sign up for Beacon, you can actually turn on your portfolio in 30 seconds, and that page is up and running and live, even if you don't have any listings. So we've been trying to help people with less listings, and we've been trying to help people in Canada. And this is a big day for us showing time. I didn't think you were going to show that. So that was a big reveal. But thank you to all of our current customers. We'll see you next week for the training. So, Jimmy, now we're going to get into the specific phases. So
Yep.
the vault, to be clear, was all of the marketing that you can do that can be applied to any phase.
Yep.
The second half of the class, we've got 51 minutes left. We're bringing the heat today. The
Mm-hmm.
second half of the class is marketing that is specific and unique to phase one, two, or three.
Yep.
But before we go to the tactics,
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to kind of go through this roadmap idea of launch and buzz, sustain and amplify, close strong. Like,
Yep.
we didn't want to give people 90 ideas in 90 days. We thought of it more in phases. And if you look at under phase one, day -7 through 14. Phase two
Yeah.
is day 15 through 60. Days three is 61 plus. So walk people through this, and I will be right back, my friend.
Yeah. So one of the things that we wanted to cover here in this section is to understand that every listing has distinct phases. And if you understand the intention or the goal of that phase, you can actually have a really solid plan to support that. So before a home is listed, meaning before it's on the MLS, before it's publicly available on Zillow or on your major websites, this is where you are trying to extract as much value as possible. This is actually part of the phase where I'm trying to get as many listings from my listing as possible. So this is the pre-appointment campaigns. This is, hey, I'm going to go meet a potential seller campaign. This is, hey, I'm texting my sphere of influence. Hey, I'm like, I got a listing. It's hitting the market in 24 hours. I know you're not currently looking to make a move, but I'm sure you know someone who is. Who do you think is worth sharing this with? Like, I'm trying to generate referrals off that. So the first sort of 0 days, the first like -7 to 0 days, your mindset should be, I want to promote this thing as aggressively as I possibly can to get as many buyers and potential sellers raising their hand. So I'm getting business from the listing. So no matter what happens to that listing, I'm manufacturing business. Now, the moment the home hits the market, which is the phase one part of this, which sort of the first sort of 14 days, is I'm really aggressively promoting this listing everywhere all the time. This is the social media campaigns. This is the email campaigns. This is the video ads. I'm actually boosting this. Like I'm really going all out to say, you know what? I'm gonna try to see if I can get some momentum on this house and maybe get it sold. Because Chris, if a home hits the market in the first sort of 30 days, buyers are asking, what's the price? After 30 days, they're asking, what's wrong? And so I'm trying to basically make sure this becomes a hot home on Redfin, or it is the number one viewed listing on Zillow. Because if I can maximize my attention market share, I increase the likelihood of getting showings, which ultimately increase the likelihood of getting more actual offers. So I'm pushing as aggressive as I can. Now, as I enter into phase two, this is sort
Hmm.
of after the initial launch, I'm saying to myself, okay, I have to now have a sustainable marketing strategy so I
Hmm.
don't lose a listing. And so this
Yep.
is more of like like we mentioned earlier, chopping up your campaigns and using videos and using Claude co-work and using the GPS technique, whether it's open houses or price reductions. I am like making sure that I'm consistently promoting. Now, I'll say one caveat here, Chris, which is I am trying to actively promote the home on
Yep.
a shoestring budget. I am
Hmm.
not investing really aggressively in promoting the home because at this point I know it's the market and price. So I'm like maximizing my exposure while minimizing my budget. And then as we enter into phase three is where this is where everyone falls apart, which is you're like, if your average days on market are 85 and the home's been on the market for 60 days, don't slow down. You know, I saw recently, Chris, a video on social media of a marathoner trying to cross the marathon line. And he's celebrating the last
Yeah.
100 feet. You saw that video?
I saw
And this like
that.
American dude came sprinting past him. He dived to the finish line, obviously coming in second place and getting injured. Like that's how most agents finish the way they promote their listing is all of it's up front and it's sort of like a stump, like you're diving for the finish line. Don't do that. We want you kind of consistently posting and promoting all the way through because that last 60 days or last 60 to 90 days is a mission critical part of it. So you don't lose that listing. So those are sort of
Yep.
this three distinct phases. And let's go through some examples of campaigns that fall within each phase.
Yeah, absolutely. So phase one, buzz and launch. There's a way, and this is sort of again specific to a brand new listing.
Yep.
Now, I was doing research because I'm an email marketing nerd, and I was researching the idea that I always want to get the highest open rate possible. And so what I learned is that questions, subject lines that are questions, get the
Mm-hmm.
highest open rates possible.
Yeah.
Then I did some analysis of the most common subject lines in real estate, and none of them are questions. They're
Yeah.
statements. And so what I did is I kind of went back and I grabbed all these common subject lines when a listing's new, and I remixed it for you guys so that you can turn it into a question that will increase your engagement. Now, I also want to argue that what you see on the right half of the screen where it says do this,
Mm-hmm.
These are also great hooks
Yeah.
for videos and for social media content. So instead of a video, think about a video, Jimmy, that says, "Hey, we've got a new listing in Avalon Park." Like if the video starts like that, they just scroll by it. But imagine if the video says, "Would you pay $875,000 for this view?"
Yeah.
That's going to get a lot more people to stick around. So instead of just listed 4 bed, 4 bath, can you
Mm-hmm.
guess what this kitchen costs to renovate?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of new listing alert, would you
Yeah.
give up your backyard for this?
Yep.
Instead of check out this beautiful property, is this the best value on the market right now? Instead of new to market, 123 Maple Drive, how long do you think this one lasts? So it's a simple swap, as our buddy Phil Jones would say,
Yep.
but what happens is it creates what's called an open feedback loop
Mm-hmm.
that the human psyche wants to close. If I got that email, would you pay $875,000 for this view? I wouldn't be able to resist it because I would want to see the view. Like I would want to see the view. If I got an email that said new listing in Avalon Park, I wouldn't even think about opening it.
Yep.
So this goes back to the ideology we talked about at the beginning, where we want the marketing we're doing to have mass appeal because we want to be able to send it to our whole database, not
That's
just,
right.
highly qualified, interested buyers. The next strategy, and this is so perfect, Jimmy, this matches up perfectly with how I taught everybody earlier in the first half of the class to make videos using their pictures. Okay.
Yep.
So you would do what I taught you guys earlier, but you're going to make vertical. All I had to do is I could have toggled 16 by 9. It would have done the same thing.
Yep.
But this is one of our favorite agents. Her name's Esther Coe, and she is getting thousands of comments on her reels of her listings. And what's fascinating is there's not much to them. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're incredibly simple. So I actually want to play one of these so people can see a real one. And then I'll talk about how you can use something like ManyChat to do this at scale. But this is a listing video using the photos we taught you how to turn into videos earlier with a
Yep.
really smart call to action. I'll let you guys watch this for a moment. Jimmy, what do you think of the audio?
Oh, we can't hear the audio, Chris. You have to reshare it.
There's no audio.
No.
Trick question.
Come on. Come on.
Sorry.
You
Trick
can't beat me
question.
like that. I'm gonna leave you.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here
Trick
to respond.
question.
I'm sitting here responding to the comments like, oh yeah, I can't hear the audio. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and there's some kind of audio. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I'll just mess with you. Hold on.
All right. There we go.
There we go. It's not words, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's important here is the CTA. And she's not showing much. She's showing a few rooms, but she says, for more details on this home, comment Irvine, right? Watch this. These are the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Irvine, Irvine, Irvine. Jimmy, there's 1,000 comments. Okay.
I just want to call something out for everyone here because this is so important.
Yeah.
Is I am here to say traditional advertising for home values or sign up to search for homes is dead
Yeah.
compared to this stuff. I mean, like
Yeah.
that like you and I pioneered many of these strategies. So, we were the godfathers of many of these strategies. So we're here to basically put the nail in the coffin. Like
Hmm.
running a Google ad to get someone to basically go to a website to force registration is not the future of advertising. This
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah.
Because what you're having is people opting in to get more information. Now, just do us a favor, Chris. 1,000 comments is great until you guys start replying to people. How does she
Yeah.
manage this?
Well, this is what's so cool. And you can see she's replying to every comment.
Yep.
But I'm sure a lot of people think, man, that's a lot of people. I'm busy. Well, what you can do, which is super cool, is you can use a tool called ManyChat. And this is actually an automation that I'm using right now. And so what it does is basically if someone comments with a specific keyword, it then knows what to send them in the DM.
That's right.
So what it'll do is I can put the words here. So this is where she would have put Irvine,
Yeah.
right? And what I like to do, Jimmy, is misspell it too, just in case people
Sure.
spell it wrong.
Yep.
And then this, see how it says reply to their comments? They give you three versions of a reply, so it's not the same reply every time. So every person that comments Irvine, she's not commenting back. This is ManyChat commenting back for her.
Yep.
Then it will DM them. Click the link below, and I'll
Hmm.
send you, click below, and I'll send you the link in just a second. And this is what I love adding right here, Jimmy. This step ensures you are not a bot. Okay.
Hmm.
So what this does is they you DM them automatically, but then they have to engage with your DM, and then it sends the link right here.
Yep.
So I want to give people a chance to try this so you guys can see this in the real world. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat. Okay.
Okay.
And I want everyone to go to this post on Instagram
Hmm.
and comment with the word viral right here.
Hmm.
Comment viral on this post. And it will do exactly what we just said. It
Yep.
will auto reply to your comment. It will DM you. And what you're actually going to get is amazing, by the way, because it is from our last live stream, which are 9 viral tactics. It includes the prompts, it includes all the slides. But you can see here, Bethany commented viral,
Yep.
and then it commented back, sent you the link.
Yep. So to
And
be
then,
clear,
and
just
yeah,
click on the link for those of you because people type in viral in the chat. Click on the link Chris just shared, and then we'll give you a second to do this. Pulls up
mhm,
Instagram and then comment viral, and you can see Carissa just said, "Send me the link." Right? Send me the link. You can
yeah,
see at the bottom right. I see the messages coming in, so you'll
yeah,
actually see the whole flow here. So I guess
yeah,
Chris, let me just back up for 1 second because I want to be really clear. The
mhm,
beginning of today's session, we talked about all the different ways you can become an idea generation machine. So this
yeah,
is like GPS. This is using Claude Cowork. This is taking your photos and turning them into videos. Now we're
yeah,
getting into the actual specific tactics. So phase one
mhm,
is yes, like all the pre-appointment stuff we covered in the past. We actually go really deep on that on the viral strategy. But the
yeah,
phase one is like, why aren't you using? This is the thought that goes through. Now that you know how you can create a video, now that you know it's easy to create a video, now that you can post on social media, why aren't you
yeah,
doing that to basically, like Esther, generate literally hundreds of comments on every one of your listings? And more
correct.
importantly, leads. I guarantee
Yeah,
you, when Esther shows that to her sellers, they're like, "Yeah, I'm good.
mhm,
Right? Thanks." Like,
yeah.
do
The
you think she
engagement
shows
is
that at every
through the
listing
roof.
presentation? I mean, like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And one small caveat here is the links and the whole automation, it works on mobile through the app.
Got
So
it. Yep.
I'm showing it on desktop, so it's not showing the full picture, but on the app, you guys will get the
Yep.
link, the comment, and it's crazy cool. It's incredibly useful. And by the way, you can boost and advertise your reel.
That's right. That's right.
So let's say, because I picture somebody's going to go back and do this. I sure hope they do. And then the issue, Jimmy, is that they're not going to get as many views and comments as Esther because they're new to this. Maybe their page hasn't been putting out good stuff.
Yep.
Well, this is the secret sauce. Post it organically, get as much traction as you can,
Yep.
and then pay to play
That's
and
right.
boost it, and it'll still work exactly the same. The next one, Jimmy, guess the price. This is one of our favorite strategies, and we're talking about this in phase one, but it's also kind of a vault idea. You could
Yep.
guess the price of the open house, you could guess the price of the property that we just reduced the price, you could guess the price of a sold. I get it. But what happens, and this goes back to the idea of asking questions, can you guess the price of the subject line? And
Hmm.
this is one of my favorite like subject lines. Only 1 in 4 people get it right.
Yep. Hmm.
That creates a little bit of competition. So you can see the email. I just listed a home in Avalon Park. I want to see if you can guess how much it's listed for. It's got
Yep.
4 beds, 3 baths, 4,000 square feet. It's in the Timber Creek High School District. It also has a pool and a lake view. That is my house, by the way, Jimmy. Except we have 5 bedrooms, not 4. Um, and then what I'm doing here, did we list it for
Mm-hmm.
A, 425, B, 550, right? All four choices have a link in them.
Yep.
The cool thing is all four links are the same link.
Yep.
The link is to the listing details page on your website.
Mm-hmm.
So if I click 425 and it opens and it's 720, clearly I got it wrong. If I
Yep.
click on the 720 link and it opens and it's 720, clearly I got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one last thing. You know, I'm always adding that little simple CTA. Reply to this email and
Mm-hmm.
let me know if you guessed right. Very
Mm-hmm.
simple. That's the whole email. Now, here's what's crazy because we invented this idea, to be clear. And we did this, and this gets the highest click-through rate of any email that you've ever done. You could also do this as like a big post on social.
Yep.
Here's for list, here's the listing. Can you guess the price? But Jimmy, this agent did this as a reel. I don't know if you've seen this yet. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But she did the same thing. Guess the price of one of the rarest properties in LA. Wait till you see this.
Mm.
100-acre ranch in the heart of Los Angeles. No, this is not Montana. This is not Texas. This is Brentwood in LA, hidden in Mandeville Canyon. This estate spans over 100 acres, which means owning it is essentially owning about 1% of Brentwood. The land unfolds into open meadows, private hiking trails throughout the canyon, a beautiful pool, sweeping views. It even has 12 mini ponies.
Jimmy, guess the price.
Are the ponies included? Right?
The ponies are included. It's 20,000 square feet of living space. Private trails.
Oh
Owning
man.
it means you're essentially owning 1% of Brentwood. What a freaking baller.
Can you pull it up? Because this is actually so let me just extend this for 1 second. Someone says that's
Yeah.
Jane's like that's a donkey. Come on, Jane. That actually does look like a donkey.
That is a donkey, is
It's
it?
like one of those zoos in China where they got the pandas, but they're actually dogs. Like they paint. Is that what's happening here at this
Yeah.
place?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I love it, Janie. So here's the thing that's really interesting is okay, if you did guess this price, if you have like a listing like this, which is like obviously an extraordinary listing, if you did this to guess the price, you know what I would do, Chris?
Uh-huh.
This goes back to the idea like everything is marketing. Everything is marketing. I would find the most viral comment on this
Uh-huh.
post. And that
Yeah.
would then become like, if you scroll up for a second, like, what's the comment that has literally the most likes, right?
This one says, I've got $29.54. Take it or leave it. It has 400 likes.
Right. So, like, the subject line might be more than $29, but less than you think, right?
And now
Like,
they're combining their money. I'll add 6 cents. I'll put 20 in.
are you guys with me on this? Like, you could take the social media, if you're posting a lot, sharing a lot, you could take the social media comments and then that this is the summarize piece, Chris, right? I'm using this for the
Yeah.
summarize piece of this campaign, which is
Yeah.
now people are crowdsourcing to be able to buy my latest listing. That's my headline, right?
Super cool. And the guesses are absolutely wild.
Yeah, I
And
love it.
what I'm going to ask, because we have more content to cover,
Hmm.
can one of you guys track down the actual price, please? It's O'Connor Estates is the listing agent here.
Yep.
I'm not going to pull it up, but somebody track it down for us and drop it in the comment. How much was it really?
Hmm.
Mickey Booth said 48 million. I don't know if that was a guess, but if somebody finds the listing details page or the sold page, drop it in. But again, an idea that works on email, an idea that works on social, and obviously an ideal that works on a property that's just listed.
Super quick, Chris, on the guess the price. This is an example of a listing that's hit the market. How would you use this on knowing that 1 in 3 listings now have a price reduction? How would you
Mhm.
use this on a price reduction?
Meaning if I was doing a guess the reduction.
Yeah, like a guess that like, hey, we just like,
Yeah.
how would you frame that? So
Yeah,
let's
I would
assume,
frame it as we just lowered the asking price of this property
yeah,
by $12,000. Guess how much it is now. So I would
mm,
I would actually mention how much we lowered it,
yeah,
and then I would want them to guess what it is now.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's exactly what I would do. So now the other thing is you could have them guess how much the price was lowered by.
Mm,
So you
yep.
could say, hey, we have a listing. It's $412,000 and
Yep.
we're about to lower the price.
Hmm.
Do you think we're going to lower it by? Do you think we should? This would be a good one. Do you think we should lower it by?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. 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 Hey,
10,000, 15,000, 20,000, or 25,000. Click to vote,
well,
right?
what I would actually
Yeah.
do? Let's just we got a minute just to workshop this with you guys because again, what did Chris say at the very beginning? Let's give you ideas you've never heard of. Okay,
Mhm.
and then we got some
Mhm.
material we want to cover. That's gonna be great. You're gonna love it. But what you just said there, Chris? Let's just break this down.
Yep.
I would let's say you're my seller. I say, Chris, listen, we got this window to get as much exposure as possible about this price reduction we're going to do. So now that
Mhm.
like you and I have to agree on the price, okay? So we agree, hey, listen, we're going to lower by $30,000. I
Mhm.
would then GPS that. Okay, hey guys, listen, I'm meeting with my client this afternoon. We're going to have to adjust the price given the current market conditions. I know, like, I have an idea of how much I want them to reduce the price by that actually it's going to really help sell the house. Like, in this case, here's the listing. How much, like, at what price would you become a buyer? So I'm giving you the rough and raw here, but like I'm gonna position this home where I'm like I've already met with the seller, so they know I'm doing this. I'm gonna be like, hey, at what price would you become a buyer? Here's the listing. Here's the details. I got to get them to agree to a serious project. I'm gonna promote that. Then
Yeah.
I'm gonna come
I like
back and
that.
say, Chris, right? I'm gonna say, okay, listen, I just left the seller. They've
Yep.
agreed to reduce the price.
So
Can you?
this is the gossip approach, right? It's like, hey, I'm about to have a tough conversation.
That's
I
right.
like that as like kind of the angle.
Yep. And
Um,
then I'm about to have a tough conversation,
yeah, I
and
love
I
that.
like and but like it'd be Chris. I would be actually like soliciting their help. I'm like, hey Chris, I'm gonna have a tough conversation with myself. I would be complimentary. I love this house. I think it's the perfect house for the right buyer. But right now we're just slightly above what the market says it's worth. I'm
Yeah.
curious, like maybe you're not even thinking about buying, but if you were thinking about buying, at what price would you at least consider this house, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm getting a
Or
bunch
at
of
what price would you consider it to be a possible investment
possible deal,
opportunity
possible
versus
investment,
your
right?
versus your single family residence? Yeah,
And
I
then
love
and then
that.
I'm basically doing then I'm like, hey, okay, hey, good news. I met with the seller. They
Yeah.
agreed to price. Can you guess how much they agreed? And the biggest number would be the real number. So I would be
Right.
like 12,000, 18,000,
Yeah.
23,000, 20. I would never do like 12,000. Could be like, what?
1,000.
Yeah. And then the
Yeah.
summarize piece, Chris, come back to GPS. Summarize like,
Mhm.
okay, we just sold, this home. Most homes in the area don't sell. We just sold this one at XYZ because our seller decided to not, to basically reduce the
Yeah.
price by 27,000. What actually
Yep.
happened was we got six buyers pop out of nowhere, created a bidding
Mhm.
war, and actually drove the price back up. And so I would
Yeah.
summarize the end of the story as the point. So you
Sure.
can apply the GPS to everything that we coach here, but the guess the
Mhm.
price is like there's a lot you can do with that as the point.
Yeah, for sure. And again, this is being recorded. We have a bunch of people asking. Thank you for asking, because it means you're enjoying it. We'll get the recording out to everybody as soon as we possibly can. But Jimmy, here's the reveal. The donkey house is $58 million,
That's
and
a
the price was reduced by 12 million.
how many the question is, and again, if we're going to be creative here, divide the number of donkeys and mini ponies by the
Yeah.
price, right? Because you could sell a $58 million house, or you could sell 16 donkeys for the
Well,
for
no. What if you do a $58 million donkey includes house with purchase?
I mean
I
that
mean,
like
I'm open to that email, the $58 million donkey.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
if you want to
Yeah.
get featured by the New York Times, the Wall Street
Yeah.
Journal, right, major publications, like you can do that. I mean, like have some fun with it. I love that, dude.
Yeah. And I'm just going back to the Dune single property site just for a
Yep.
second, but it updated it. The spice must flow. The Arrakis estate
Yep.
imperial specifications,
I
the
love it.
Steitch gallery. So yeah, it's really fun to be able to do this kind of
By the way,
stuff.
I'm learning more about donkeys in the chat than I think as you guys can probably tell, neither Chris or I grew up on a farm. So this is
Yeah.
all new. This is all new information for
Well,
us.
hold on. I live in the country. I live in the
Listen,
country.
you don't live in a farm, dude. Okay, that
No,
is not
I
the.
live near farms, though. I do live near farms. But
All
yeah,
right,
don't Google WAP and don't Google donkey. Let's
that's
just leave it at that. All
okay.
right. Next, just
Yep.
listed. So,
Hmm.
Jimmy, this one's actually really interesting. And you've had a bunch of your listing leads members already doing this with tremendous success.
Yeah.
But I love this concept because I think about this a lot. Like, you can't always choose your neighbors, but sometimes you can.
Sure,
And
sure.
so this is a just listed, what we call a know someone letter.
Mm-hmm.
Could door knock with this. Most likely the most effective way to do this would be through the mail. So this went out from Melissa
Yep.
McIntyre, and she said, when a home comes up for sale in a community like Stone Creek, it's not uncommon for someone nearby to think, I wonder if Linda or Mike would ever be interested. The
Mm-hmm.
instinct makes sense. This is not just a collection of homes. It's a place with shared value, quality of life that's important. And then it goes into the details. If someone comes to mind, I'd be happy to walk them through it before the opportunity passes. Feel free to pass along myself. Okay.
Yep.
Love that. And then at the bottom, I sent out 140 of these to a community of a listing. I got one phone call from someone who not only wants to buy it, but also needs to list their current condo.
Yep.
So the reason that we're showcasing this is I think a lot of listing marketing is done in vain, where you're not really even trying to sell the home. You're
Mm-hmm.
just trying to generate leads. Like a lot of people would say that about like an open house, right?
Yep.
The open house benefits you more than the seller. Well, in this example, I loved it because I got a phone call from someone that wants to buy it and they happen to have to sell a home too. So this is a great phase one tactic. Let's get into phase two.
Mm-hmm.
Phase two is where we sustain the momentum and we amplify the results. So the first thing I wanted to bring up in phase two is kind of just going back to this idea that in phase two, you're probably going to be doing things like having an open house. You're probably going to be doing things like showings. You're probably going to be doing things like maybe launching a video, right? Things of this
Mm-hmm.
nature. But I think sometimes phase two is the hardest, Jimmy, because phase one's kind of fun and everybody's in a good mood. Phase three, you're kind of nearing the finish line and the transaction's almost over. Phase two is that trough of sorrow. Phase two is that kind of ugly middle. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is probably, while it may not be the most fun phase, you asked earlier, hey, drop a W if you have a listing that you're worried about. My guess is that it's in phase two.
Sure.
So this is just another kind of simple swap. Instead of open house this Saturday,
Yep.
say, ever wonder what your neighbor's house looks like inside?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying open house from 1 to 4, say, what does 750K actually look like in person?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of come see the home this weekend, the question is this the one you've been waiting for? So it's just the same ideology, but applies to phase two for something
Mm-hmm.
like an open house. Now, the strategy that I'm about to show, Jimmy, I know this is one of your favorites. And this is actually one, again, we are the inventors of this strategy. But talk about like, because I was walking you through this earlier, picture, prompt, paragraphs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're kind of in that messy middle where we're looking for ideas. We've probably already done just listed. We've probably already done email campaigns and reels, and we've done the video. Like we've already done a lot, and we're kind of grasping at straws. So
Mm-hmm.
I want you to talk about the picture, prompt, paragraph, and then I'll build one in real time here.
Yeah, at a high level, we said it earlier. You make the small big, and you make the big the small big and the big small. And
Hmm.
so, instead of promoting the entire listing, you take a listing and then
Hmm.
you grab a photo and then you ask AI to basically create a caption, a
Hmm.
story, some content around just that single photo.
Hmm.
And Chris will walk you through this how this what this is what it's going to look like. Now, how you would use that, Chris? If I got 10 listings, I might
Hmm.
find like here, like an example might be like this is a listing, I think one of Shan Gillette's listing where she has this house. And what's the, by the way, can Chris and I could not get over this one feature of this kitchen. What's the
Yeah.
first thing you notice of this kitchen? In the chat, let us know. What's the very
Yeah.
first thing you notice in this kitchen? But what you could do, Chris, is
Hmm.
you could take these photos and you can do a
Hmm.
single post with a single photo. That's completely
Yeah.
fine. No
Hmm.
CTA, no comment below, no call me, here's my listing. Like, single post, and everyone say the same thing. Like, what type of cooking are they doing in that kitchen that they have to have a fire extinguisher at their at their fingertips? But like,
Yeah.
um, and then by the way, everything's like still like marble and granite, so I'm not sure what exactly is happening there. So the point being is that every photo can basically become a
Yeah.
post.
Yeah.
And what I would do, Chris, as you're doing that, you're showing this example, what I would
Hmm.
do is if I got like 10 listings, I might just say, here are like my 10 favorite features of the listing, like listings I currently have in the market, you know?
Yep.
And like I just I might say something like this, Chris. Now we're workshopping this. I might say, one of the best things about being a real estate agent is I have an opportunity to be invited into my client's home. And I'm always in awe of
Hmm.
the amount of work and care and thought they put into designing their properties and maintaining their properties. Here are seven
Yeah.
of the like my favorite features of my current listings that I know
Hmm.
buyers are going to love. And it's just
Yeah.
literally photo, 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 photo is the point.
Yeah. And then people already have these great photos. So this is the picture that earlier we turned into a video. But
Hmm.
all I did, you guys, very simple, is you add it to ChatGPT and I said, analyze this photo and write compelling copy about what you see that would appeal to a home buyer. And I'm going to put this in the chat because every time I do this, people ask what the prompt is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
So this one, as you can see, so obviously you see the room.
Hmm.
Here's the message. Okay, this one feels different. Look at this space. The first thing you notice is how open and calm it feels. Like everything just breathes, right? This
Mm.
is like some architectural digest
Hmm.
type
Yep.
copy. And
Yep.
then this is awesome. I love how the living area is set up too. It's actually designed for conversation, not
Sure.
just a TV wall. It feels like the kind of place you'd hang out with people for hours, right?
Yep.
So the AI can see it's
Yep.
looking at the picture and then it flows right into that elevated dining area. Those steps give it a little separation. This is one of those homes that just feels easy to live in the second you walk in.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you had a really good idea, which was what if we wanted to write it not so much kind of appealing to a buyer,
Yep.
but what if we did the same picture, but we said, write it as if I am sharing it with a friend and I'm texting the picture to them. So
Yep.
you can still give it tonality, personality, and it's way different. Like, okay, this living room is kind of insane. The ceilings are huge, everything's super open. I love
Hmm.
how the seating's set up. Everybody's not staring at TV, way more social. And then it steps up. Honestly, it just feels like one of those spaces that you'd walk in and be like, hell yeah, I could live here.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
Chris,
is photo prompt paragraphs.
and this goes back to the earlier thought or of like I mean we have almost 700 people on call right now. We're 90 plus minutes into the session. So
Mhm.
this is the thing that's mind blowing. When you go at the very beginning of today's session, we talked about the fact
Mhm.
that you got to be posting a lot more, sharing a lot more, and I know that 90% of people listening like, oh, really? Like I'm gonna run out of ideas. Like this takes literally like 3 seconds to do. Put it on social media, post it, move on with your day, and like you just check that box. So I just like you can do the
Mhm.
little stuff. It's okay.
Yeah.
Every post doesn't need to be this all of this like effort that
Mhm.
goes into it. You can do this little stuff, and it's surprising because Chris and I have done this enough where some of like the little stuff that like this is like a throwaway post does
Yeah.
so insanely well. It's like the most frustrating thing imaginable because you spend all this time designing and creating
Right.
something and you get like
Yeah.
100 likes. And then like you're like, oh hey, here's a quick idea. And it's like 6,000, right? Like
Yeah.
what? So
Yeah.
don't trip, don't like your effort you put into it does not go into the consideration or factors like how well it's going to do. So like your
Yeah.
effort doesn't
And
matter.
people kind of hate on the idea of throwing things against the wall to see if they stick, but it's kind of what you got to do.
That's
You're
right.
not going to know it sticks if you don't throw it against the wall.
Hmm.
You know,
That's
Brad
right.
Inman used to say half the stuff you're going to hear it connect works and half doesn't. The problem is you got to do it all to figure out which half is which.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of trial and error here. And one other quick pro tip for the picture prompts. There's a lot of people on the call today, Jimmy, with a lot of listings.
That's
So
right.
what I would do is I would say, okay, let's take 3 pictures of 3 kitchens from 3 listings, and let's turn that into a blog post. Let's turn that into an email campaign.
Yeah,
Let's
for
turn
sure.
that into an IG carousel
Hmm.
where it's almost like the headline becomes, are these 3 kitchens nicer than yours? Do these kitchens make you jealous? Could you see yourself cooking in this kitchen? Right.
Hmm.
And you could do that for pools. You could do that for living rooms. You could do that for yards, for curb appeal. The ideas are kind of limitless there. All right. Next one, Jimmy. I'm going to take the lead on this.
Sure.
This is one of my favorite graphics that I've ever created. And we had this epiphany, which is a lot of times, and this is especially important for buyers to understand. Okay. So, and as important for sellers to understand.
Yeah.
So, we already asked earlier, what's your average days on market? Okay. Well, if your average days on market in this example is 58,
Hmm.
okay. And right now you are here at day 42.
Yeah.
You're actually about to enter the selling soon zone of genius.
Hmm.
So while it may be frustrating that we're 42 days in and
Yeah.
we haven't sold the home, we're actually right where we need to be. We're actually at the exciting point. Like, drop a Y in the chat if you think this visual could help you with a conversation with a seller who has the
Hmm.
wrong expectation.
Hmm.
What about a buyer who thinks the listing's stale? Like, you are here.
Yeah.
And so what I was talking with Jimmy about before the call, and it looks like there's a ton of whys coming through.
Hmm.
And by the way, how did I do this? I went back to my little secret sauce Higgs field, and I used Nano Banana Pro, and it's all the same stuff I've already been showing you guys. And all you have to do is just tell it, like, create a visual. And by the way, screenshot this. Okay, screenshot this right now. I'll leave it up for a second. We're going to send you the deck anyway. Screenshot this, and then you go to Nano Banana Pro and you say, recreate this using
Hmm.
these days on market, and the you are here being this many days. Like,
Yeah.
you could literally customize this in 2 freaking seconds using the AI. I don't know why it's not loading, but you get the point.
Hmm.
So this is incredibly compelling. But what I was telling Jimmy, like, in our world, when you're building software, like Jimmy showed earlier, the ingestion feature with showing time. Well, we've been working on that for a couple months.
Hmm.
But look how excited everybody got when we announced it. But
Hmm.
meanwhile, we're already working on other stuff. Like, that one's already kind of like on the assembly line about to come out. And so we're not as excited about it as we were when we first started building it. But we have to remember that our customers don't even know about it yet.
That's
So
right.
they're freaking pumped. So the reason I bring that up is, like, when you get to this you are here moment, right before you hit that selling soon zone, you need to kind of like sit up in your chair again, and you need to treat this like a new listing.
Yeah.
You need to get as excited as you were on day one and reinvigorate yourself, because, yeah, it kind of sucks that we're on day 42, but it's kind of exciting that we're about to hit that average days on market. What
That's
does
right.
this look like in a marketing campaign? Very simple.
Hmm.
This is an email that you can send to a seller. And the subject line is, we're actually right where we want to be. Hey,
Hmm.
Jimmy, I wanted to reach out personally, not just with a report. Okay. So remember, at this point, we're at in this example, we're at day 60. So you've been sending them beacons,
Hmm.
ideally, for 9 weeks in a row. You've sent them a beacon to let them know what's going on. Well, now you're sending them a beacon, but you're sending them an email that's a little different. Day 60 can feel heavy. I get it. You've been patient, you've trusted the process, and I don't just want to gloss over that with numbers. So here's the honest picture. Average homes in our market sell in 90 days. You're a full month ahead of that, and we've got real options on the table. Homes that sell fast almost never get full value. Either the price was too low to begin with, or it was a once in a generation property. The
Hmm.
sellers who wait for the right buyer are almost always the ones who look back glad that they did. That's the position you're in right now. As we move through the next 3 weeks, I'll be watching the data closely as always and updating you on what I see. So that's the you are here as an email. I think your sellers would appreciate the hell out of this. There was a story, Jimmy, I think you saw it, that went viral where this dude in South Florida used ChatGPT to sell his house. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got 4 offers on the first day.
Yep.
This is part of the reason it went viral. Well, guess what every realtor with a half a brain immediately thought?
He priced it too low.
Exactly.
Right.
The AI just screwed you, bro.
Sorry.
Because you could have got way more than that. You know, this is not a 4 offer on the first day market. You just lowballed yourself.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So that's something that I think is important to be able to communicate and articulate. This is the you are here email. Talk about this idea though, Jimmy, because this is the you are here, but it's more so a marketing campaign versus a message to a buyer or to a seller.
This campaign, I'll pull up so I can see it too. So this campaign is, the idea is when a home is on the market for 60 days, most agents don't think, and it hasn't sold, most agents think that this is like not a marketable moment. And some of the best marketing is when no one else is doing it. So what we did with this campaign is like, how do you educate? Like one of the challenges people have right now when it comes to getting listings is that the seller's expectations are different than reality. So
Correct.
there's no one in the industry who's done more to help agents get listings than what I've done over the last 2 years here, Chris. And I've learned a lot in that experience helping thousands of agents get listings. And I'll tell you, there's a big difference between a good listing and a bad listing. Your job isn't to collect listings, it is to sell them. And so how do you actually get good, healthy inventory? You start with the way you market. So if you just, everything you promote is like sold in 3 days, sold in 7 days, sold above ask, guess what you get?
Right.
You get these guys who want to sell their house quickly and they want the moon and they got no realistic expectations. So this campaign, it sort of acts as like, hey, listen, the market's been on the home for 60 days. There's something you should know. And the back of the postcard, which is similar to the email Chris just gave you, is like,
this is the back, right? Like,
yeah, we're right in the selling zone. It just takes a while. Like this market just takes a little while to find the right buyer. But like what you want to do with this campaign, just like we do with the email, is if you're in a market where average days is going up, you would position selling quickly as taking a low ball offer. Now, of course, if the home's a spectacular once in a generation home, it will sell quickly. But for most homes, if you're selling the house like 10 times faster than the market, that just means you left money on the table. And so this campaign is a way for you to A, demonstrate that you're in it for the long haul, deliver a great experience for your customers, and then also B, so when you get the phone call, because when you do sell the house, we're going to tell you to promote it. When you get the phone call, you've got a much better expectations going into that listing. Your job is not to collect listings, it is to sell them, which starts with your marketing.
Yeah, it makes me think of the concept of your vibe attracts your tribe,
That's right.
If this generates the lead, you're bringing in someone that's patient, that actually understands and has the right expectation. Because every single person, when I just said that the guy got 4 offers on the first day, and our first thought was he lowballed himself.
That's right.
That's what people are thinking about you guys when you say sold in 24 hours, sold in 3 days. It's exactly the same mindset consumers have. All right, Jimmy, we're going to close strong in phase 3. We got a couple phase 3 ideas for people, but in phase 3, one of 2 things should start to happen. Either you should have a serious buyer and you should be closing on the property, or you should be reducing the price. Like, I don't know what happened to the visual I made. I can't find it. But basically the idea is pretty simple. You either have, if you're getting a lot of online exposure, but not a lot of showings, you have the wrong price. If you're getting a lot of showings, but you're not getting any offers, you have the wrong condition. It's really that straightforward. So in phase 3, hopefully we're doing some price reductions. And by the way, if you've done a lot of these marketing ideas and you've documented it and you're sending it in Beacon every week, they'll have told you to lower the price.
That's right.
To be clear, happens for our Beacon clients all the time. So here's some of those simple swaps. Instead of doing a message price reduced, this home just got $40,000 cheaper. Are you still interested? Instead of price drop, I love this one. What changed? The price, not the home. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing that changed was the price. New price on a great home. Would this number change your mind?
Yeah.
This one I really like. Motivated seller, reduced price. You see that all the time. This one, the seller blinked. Are you paying attention? Next one, updated listing price alert. Is
Mm-hmm.
this the entry point you've been waiting for?
Yep.
Right. So that's just another way to kind of ask questions in your hooks and your videos and your subject lines. But this is something that I want to say, I don't know if it was Bam or if it was you, Jimmy, that I saw this come by my desk.
Mm-hmm.
And can't sell house is at a 10-year high.
That's right.
So what we started thinking about immediately was like, man, you should turn your closings into content. Like 40,000 people. This is I put this in the Chris list the other day. 40,000 people fired their agent last month. Nobody fired us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we sold their home. And
Yeah.
like you showed that success story earlier.
Yeah.
Show the sweat, show how the sausages make. If it was a challenging transaction and you had to lower the price a couple times to get the thing done, talk about it. Because right now people are frustrated. They are searching can't sell house at the highest rate ever recorded. So you want to turn your closings into content. And we're not suggesting the traditional just sold. Here's one concept you guys can steal that I think you're all going to love. So, what I would be doing, Jimmy, for every listing that I sell is as soon as I list it or right before I list it, I
Yep.
would go through the process of getting a cash offer from Open Door or,
Mm-hmm.
Offer Pad. There's a couple of them that are still around. So, what I want to do is I want to get a screenshot of this. I want to see what Open Door's offer is. I want to see what the net proceeds are. I want to see everything that they're putting out there. And I'm going to take a big fat screenshot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the graphic on the left when I sell the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not just saying sold for 299. I'm saying sold for 299. The cash offer was 50K. I just helped my client avoid taking $50,000 less than
Yeah.
Open Door wanted to offer them.
Yep.
So there's a few kind of cool things happening here. One is it's a beautiful, simple visual. Two, again, you're riding on the shoulders of giants because at this point, lots of people know what Open Door is, but you're also eliminating people using it and coming to you instead because this is just an example of a house that's 250. Imagine what
Yeah.
these numbers would look like if the house was 850. So
Totally.
I think you should turn cash offers into phase 3 content.
One thing real quick before we go to the last two ideas here. And by the way, we realized earlier, I got a ton of comments on this. We have the Beacon QR code. We'll talk more about Beacon here in a second. It wasn't working, so I'll pull up a Beacon QR code. We did drop the link in the chat. But Chris, in this case here, turn cash
Mhm.
offers into content. Like the back of that postcard, if I was doing that, I would say something like convenience has a price. For my clients, they're more concerned about netting the most amount of money versus selling super quickly. They've owned the house for 13 plus years. Taking an extra 30 days to sell the house to net 50,000 is worth it to them. For some people, I
Mhm.
can understand it's probably not. But I wanted to give you some context because we actually just sold this listing. And prior to selling the listing, we actually requested a cash offer just to understand what this home was worth. And at the
Right.
end of the day, like this is what happened. Like this is
Yeah.
the perfect summary, like the S and GPS. And
Yeah.
so that's the back of this. That's the story that I'm telling. Is I'm trying to juxtapose this idea. Now, the other thing I'm doing, Chris, and just reminded me of this
Hmm.
again, because like everything is marketing. Um, right now, you probably can't promote sold in 7 days above the ask price, 35 people at the open house, blah blah blah. Right? You can't promote that.
Hmm.
What's another angle you could create, kind of using some of this inspiration, Chris? Um, in your market, Chris mentioned this earlier. In your market, you would know you could upload your data into Claude and ask this: how many listings expire? So for every listing, what is your expiration rate, withdrawn rate, cancellation rate? And maybe that
Hmm.
number, Chris, is like one every three. And
Mm-hmm.
then look at the number of listings that you had cancel last year. So let's say you sold 50 houses last year and you had one cancel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, juxtapose the
Right.
market success rate is 67%. Ours
Yeah.
is 98%. Here's
I love that.
why. You guys with
Yeah.
me on this? Like,
Yeah.
so all Chris is doing is he's using contrast and comparison to demonstrate value, is the idea
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. 1 in 6 sellers are backing out. 0 out of 60 backed out of the Gillette group.
Yep,
Here's,
exactly.
and then you're right. Here's why. Very
Hmm.
important 2 words. So, last 2 things. This is what I call just wrong instead of just sold. And this reel went really viral. And it's kind of, you're right. It's the S. You're right. The GPS, people need to work more on the S. Okay. Because you're right. It's like the G would be, hey, we met someone and they're thinking about selling with Open Door. We'll keep you posted if they decide to list with us or not. And then it's like, hey, they listed with us. Here it is. And then it's like, hey, look how much higher the offer was because they went through us. But this was a reel, and this is just a really good delivery because yes, the headline is Zillow was wrong. Like this is her thumbnail, not mine. But the delivery was great. And she used a listicle and she covered 6 ways we sold the listing for $700,000 more than this estimate. So I'm going to play a quick clip from this and then we'll wrap it up.
Your house for almost $700,000 more than Zillow said it was worth. 35% more. And there are 6 things that happened that I'm going to tell you about. And number 6 is my favorite. Number 1, we first met with these clients 7 months before the house went on the market and understood at that meeting that the most important thing to them was making as much money as they could from the sale. Number 2, we brought in our team to help them clean up, repaint the house, refinish the floors, spruce up the landscaping, and get it ready to help them get top dollar, completely staging the house. Look at that board. First movie, Mark.
So you guys get the point there, right? And she did a lot of good things there, Jimmy. She talked about that the client's goal was the most money ever. She talked about the 700K. She also talked about the fact that that was 35% more than they thought they could. But then she went into the specifics, like back to what we just said. Here's how. So, Jimmy, and I want you guys to do me a huge favor. If you and I'm gonna throw the love over to Jimmy. I know we both presented today, but drop a J in the chat if you're glad you showed up today, if you want the replay, if you're gonna watch this again, if you got some great ideas. Because if you guys see what's on the screen, now your marketing can cover all 90 days. So when we started, we saw 2 weeks worth of marketing and we saw 2 months worth of days on market. And it was kind of depressing. Well, now you guys have a vault literally filled with things like GPS, with things like videos. And we are going to absolutely make sure you guys all get the replay. We do really appreciate you guys tuning in. And I know, Jimmy, the QR code is broken. That is my fault.
I'll go ahead and
So what
pull.
I
I'll go ahead
want
and pull it up
everyone
real
to
quick
do,
for you. I got one
yeah,
to
go
pull up
ahead.
for you, Chris. Go ahead.
Yep. Do you want to share it?
Yeah, you should be able to see my screen now. Just
Okay.
actually, let me know in the chat. Can you guys all see my screen with
Oh,
the
you got a
QR
new
code?
one.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So there's a new
Yeah.
one for you guys. And
Yeah.
Chris, you mentioned real quick because we had a ton of people asking about Beacon. We had a lot of people sign up for it. I just want to know real quick because we have the 7-day trial right now. We didn't
Yeah.
have a chance to go super deep on this. Obviously, we
Mhm.
mentioned Beacon is a tool that's being used by thousands of listing agents. It's a listing management system, but you're doing a training on this coming up. So
Yeah.
just to give some context on that because we want to make sure people sign up for Beacon, but also we get them trained on how to use everything this tool does.
Correct. And by the way, like one of the things I love about Beacon, unlike half the industry tools, is you actually can use it without a training. But we want to make sure you guys master it and get the most out of it. And so the training is next Tuesday. It's a free training that I'm hosting. and it will be within your 7-day free trial if you're signing up right now. That was important to us. So next Tuesday, while you're still in your first 7 days, you can attend the training. It's buildyourbeacon.com/training. If you want to drop that in the chat, Jimmy, buildyourbeacon.com/training. You don't need a promo code. All you have to do is go and sign up. It's 7 days free. The training is free. Portfolio, as long as you're a client, when we start charging for it, you're going to get that locked in for free. Okay. But the bonus, if you will, beyond the training, beyond the free trial, beyond portfolio, is my coaching community is called the Conversion Club. It's $600 a year to join. You get a 2 to 3 hour masterclass like this every single month. So there's, I think, 37 classes like this one. Mark Davison teaching us how to do branding from 1000 Watt.
Yeah.
Amy Youngren teaching us how to build an inside sales team. Jason Cassidy, the new head of growth, chief growth officer for Real, teaching Instagram. Ken Pozek, #1 YouTube channel in the whole industry, teaching YouTube. So it's Chris and his friends, people like Jimmy that are insanely smart. And all you have to do to get that membership for life for free is step one, sign up for Beacon, do the 7-day free trial. As long as you keep Beacon and you decide to use it, then as a Beacon paying customer, you're going to actually get a conversion Claude membership for free. So let me make one other thing really clear. If you're on the call right now and you're already a paying member of Beacon, if you're paying, not if you're in your trial, all you have to do is email me and I'll type it in again. It's Chris at theconversioncode.com. Email me that you're on the call today. Let me know that you signed up for Beacon and that you're a paying member, and I will get you added to the Conversion Club for life for free, which is a huge opportunity. We obviously have other ventures that we work on. So Jimmy is the CEO of Listing Leads. If you guys are not using Listing Leads, you should try it. It's amazing. I am an owner of an agency called Known Local. We do YouTube channels and email newsletters for top real estate agents. So if you guys have any questions about working with us in any capacity, you can email Jimmy at buildyourbeacon.com. You can email me, Chris at theconversioncode.com. We'll answer any questions you have. I have one last ask. Please go on Instagram, post something about this class that you attended today. Post your notes. Post a screenshot of a slide that you loved. Post a selfie story video talking about how great it was and that you enjoyed it, and tag me and Jimmy. I can promise you that, yes, we like making sales. We like people signing up for our stuff, but we are just as excited when somebody does that. So go to IG at Chris_SMTH at Jimmy Mackin, post about the class today, tag us, and we'll come over and say thank you. Jimmy, that's all I got. Thanks for your time today. And thanks to everyone who tuned in.